The Ravens might be on the verge of adding Kenneth Grant to their roster. A new mock draft has Michigan's national champion as Baltimore's first-round pick, and this decision could have a massive impact on the upcoming season. Grant is an absolute monster on the interior defensive line, explosive, powerful, and defying physics with his talent. But is he the right choice for the team? The defense already has established names, and investing in this position now might surprise a lot of people. What makes Kenneth Grant such an interesting target for the Ravens? And how could this decision shape the team's future? Let's break it all down. Go Raven! The Baltimore Ravens might be about to add another promising talent to their defense. In the latest CBS Sports projection, Kenneth Grant, a defensive tackle from Michigan, has been identified as the franchise's potential pick at number 27 in the 2025 draft. Grant played a key role in the Wolverines' national championship run and stood out with his size and explosiveness in the middle of the defensive line. He recorded 32 tackles and 3.5 sacks last season and has the traits that could fit well into Baltimore's system. The big question is, would this be the ideal pick for the team right now? What makes Grant special is his mobility for a player of his size. He has an explosive first step and attacks blockers in a way that resembles some of the NFL's greats. However, one area of concern is his inconsistency. At times, he completely dominates the offensive line, but in others, he disappears for a few snaps before making an impact again. That kind of fluctuation can be an issue in the NFL, where every play counts, and the Ravens will need to determine whether he has the right profile to become a key defensive piece in the future. On the other hand, Baltimore has repeatedly shown that it knows how to develop defensive talent. Grant would have the opportunity to learn from experienced players and could quickly grow within a system that favors physical and aggressive defenders. The team needs to start thinking about the long-term future of the defensive line, and bringing in a young, dominant player like Grant could be a strategic investment. If he can fix his inconsistency and become a more reliable presence, he has everything it takes to be an essential part of the Ravens' defense for years to come. Even though the defensive line isn't the team's most urgent need right now, the Ravens have a history of prioritizing talent over immediate needs in the draft. Grant could be another example of this philosophy, bringing youth to a unit that already has solid pieces, but needs fresh talent for the future. But does it make sense to invest in a defensive tackle when there are other positions in greater need of reinforcement? This is the kind of decision that could completely shift the team's draft strategy. If the Ravens do select Kenneth Grant, he will be joining a defensive front that already has strong names, but is starting to age. Nnamdi Madubuike, Michael Pierce, and Broderick Washington form a solid defensive line, but time waits for no one, and the team needs to prepare for the future. The Ravens' defense has always been built around physicality and dominance in the trenches, and Grant possesses those exact traits. He's a player who can overpower blockers and make life miserable for opposing quarterbacks, bringing the kind of aggression that Baltimore fans love to see. However, Grant wouldn't be under immediate pressure to start, which could be a major advantage. Defensive linemen often take time to adjust to the NFL level, and he would have the opportunity to learn from experienced veterans. This transition period could be crucial in helping him develop consistency and become a more dominant force. Additionally, defensive coordinator Zach would gain another versatile piece for his rotation, keeping the defensive line fresh and ready to attack from the first quarter to the last. Another key factor is Grant's ability to contribute against both the pass and the run. The Ravens have long been known for their stout run defense, and adding a player of his size and strength could help maintain that tradition. He could become the kind of player who occupies multiple blockers, freeing up linebackers to make plays. If he can sustain high energy levels throughout entire games, he might be exactly the type of difference maker the Ravens need in the most crucial moments of the season. Despite all these positives, the main debate remains whether the team should prioritize another position in the draft. After all, the Ravens have other pressing needs and could opt for a player who can make an immediate impact. Eric DeCosta has a history of selecting the best talent available, so the decision might not be solely based on positional need, but rather on who is the best player left at pick number 27. The Ravens have shown time and time again that when it comes to the draft, they don't just pick based on immediate needs. They go for the best player available. That's exactly what happened with Kyle Hamilton, who wasn't a pressing need at the time, but ended up becoming a cornerstone of the defense. If Kenneth Grant is the top-rated player on Baltimore's board, board when pick number 27 arrives. There's a good chance he'll be the choice, even if the defensive line isn't the team's biggest concern. General Manager Eric DeCosta has repeatedly stated that this strategy is what keeps the Ravens competitive year after year. Instead of reaching for a player just because of a roster hole, the goal is to bring in elite talent that can develop within the system and make a long-term impact. This approach prevents the team from making forced selections and ensures that the roster remains strong for years to come. If the Ravens view Grant as a special prospect, they could very well ignore other positional needs and bet on his upside. Additionally, Baltimore's defense has always thrived on being tough, aggressive, and dominant, and Grant fits that mold perfectly. Even if he doesn't make an immediate impact, he could develop into a defensive cornerstone in the future. The NFL is a league where games are won and lost in the trenches, and securing a powerful defensive lineman could be one of the best investments the team can make. After all, generating pressure on quarterbacks and stopping the run are two of the most crucial factors for any elite defense. But if Grant isn't the pick, what other options could the Ravens consider? With various needs across different positions, the franchise might decide to go in another direction and reinforce a different area of the roster. One major factor that could influence this decision is Grant's natural fit with the Ravens' play style, which could make his transition to the team significantly smoother. All right, we're more than halfway through the video, but I just noticed you haven't hit the like button yet. That's super important to help YouTube keep recommending my content to you, and it also lets me keep bringing you the latest Ravens news. So go ahead and smash that like button. It's free. All right, let's get back to it. One thing that could make Kenneth Grant a perfect fit for Baltimore is his experience playing under the command of Jim Harbaugh, brother of the Ravens head coach, John Harbaugh. This means that Grant is already accustomed to a disciplined, physical, and intense environment, which aligns perfectly with the Ravens' culture. This familiarity could make his transition to the NFL much easier, allowing him to adapt to the team more quickly. The Ravens have had success with Michigan players in the past, and this connection could influence their decision. Grant is already familiar with a demanding defensive system and has played on a team that values maximum effort on every play. Additionally, he played a key role in winning the national championship, showing that he can perform under pressure and bring that winning mentality to Baltimore. Players who have already experienced major moments in college football tend to be more prepared for the challenges of the NFL. Another factor in this choice could be the type of personality the Ravens are looking for. The team values competitive, disciplined players who are willing to do the dirty work to help the team win. Grant has exactly these qualities, and that could make a significant difference in the draft decision. Having someone who already understands the mentality required in the locker room could speed up his development and make him a reliable player for the future. However, the Ravens will have several options at pick 27, and will need to evaluate carefully which direction to take. The draft is always unpredictable, and everything could change depending on the selections made by other teams before Baltimore. With the first day of the draft scheduled for April 24th, the Ravens have little time to finalize their strategy and choose the player who can best help the team remain competitive at the top of the NFL. The first round of the 2025 NFL Draft will take place on April 24th at the iconic Lambeau Field in Green Bay. This will be a decisive night for the Ravens, who hold the 27th pick and will need to decide which direction to go. The choice of Kenneth Grant makes sense in several ways, but Baltimore will have other options available and could end up opting for a player who fills a more urgent need. In addition to the defensive line, the Ravens could also look at wide receiver, offensive line, or even a boost for the secondary. Depending on how the draft unfolds, the team might find a talent unexpectedly falling and change its plans at the last minute. That's why the front office always prepares for multiple scenarios, analyzing all possibilities before making the final decision. The Ravens' track record shows that the team knows how to find talent even in the lower reaches of the first round. Players like Lamar Jackson and Kyle Hamilton were selected in similar situations and have become key contributors to the team's success. If Baltimore gets it right again, they could land another player who will help keep the team competitive for many years. Now, it's a waiting game to see what decision Eric DeCosta and John Harbaugh will make. The draft could define the future of the Ravens, and any choice made will have a direct impact on the team's Super Bowl aspirations in the coming season. Kenneth Grant could be a surprising pick for the Ravens in the draft, but we can't overlook the impact he could bring to the defense. Even with a solidified defensive line, adding a young and explosive talent could be exactly what Baltimore needs to keep the defense dominant in the years to come. Moreover, his connection to Jim Harbaugh and his experience on a national championship team could ease his transition into the Ravens system. Now, I want to hear your opinion. Do you think Kenneth Grant would be the best pick for the Ravens in the first round, or should the team focus on another position? Leave your comment below, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel to stay updated on everything related to the draft and the Ravens.